Greetings, YouTube. I can remember when Rolling Stones was a cool magazine, when it talked about rock and roll and when it dealt with counterculture and trying to legalize weed and all kinds of really interesting and fascinating things. There's an article in Rolling Stones right now about some batshit crazy folks on Fox News. In particular, what is her name? Emily Campagno. Or yeah, Campagno? Campagno. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't really care. Because, you see, a study has come out that shows that some people, this study was about college students, get stress relief from petting cats. So the act of petting a cat reduces their overall stress load. And Emily's response to this, I don't think these kids need cats. I think they need discipline. I think they need a slap in the face. So Emily here thinks that the solution to being overwhelmed by the stress of the world, a world where the planet is slowly becoming uninhabitable for humans, where the rise of white nationalism in the midst of a pandemic, which isn't over, in the midst of Christo-fascists taking over in America. And she thinks that discipline will help them out of that. And if they don't snap out of it to Emily's satisfaction, that they should get slapped in the face. I think that Emily needs some therapy and maybe some meds, and to be kept away from any form of communication with the outside world for the next 6 months. She's not well. In fact, I don't know how old she is, but remember, the audience, a lot of folks reading this are now boomers, the boomer generation, who are not young, but they grew up reading Rolling Stones back when it was cool, and they still read it. But now they're not cool anymore. Now they've all become conservatives. I understand how that happens. There's a saying that I used to hear a lot when I was a kid, that if you have no, empathy as a 20-year-old, you have no soul. And if you have no discipline as an adult, if you're not conservative as an adult, then you have no mind. And the idea being that as you age, you lose your empathy and you gain, I'm not sure what, and you become conservative. So you make the drift from progressive to conservative over the course of your life. And we've seen it. You could look at the people who started out reading Rolling Stones when it was first, published, to who they're voting for now. They've made the drift from progressive to conservative. And yet, I went the opposite way. Now, technically, I'm still a boomer. I was born in '64, and the boomer generation is often seen as 44 to 64. We are the children of those who came back from World War II, or the grandchildren of those that came back from World War II. And so I'm technically a boomer. And yet, as a kid, as a 20-something, I was very much of the conservative, kill 'em all, let God sort 'em out kind of a worldview. And now I'm definitely a democratic socialist, becoming more and more progressive as time goes by. Coming to understand what intersectional feminism is, coming to understand that my complicity in misogyny and racism and homophobia and transphobia, coming to understand my privilege as a straight white dude and how it's blinded me to the world around me. And yet you got people like Emily that are upset that someone has found probably the most innocuous, harmless way you could possibly imagine to de-stress slightly: petting a cat. And that's something that she thinks they should be slapped for. Emily's not well, but a whole lot of people in America are not well. a whole lot of people in my cadre are not well. They've embraced Christofascism because it promises to return them to a world that is comfortable to them, a world that they said when they were 20-somethings that they wanted nothing to do with, but now they have a longing for, the world of their childhood, when they could pretend as a child that the world was safe and calm and ordered, when it wasn't. They were just ignorant of the world. And rather than become aware of the world, rather than becoming knowledgeable, rather than embracing their ability to learn and grow and change, they would rather remain ignorant because it's safer, because it's easier. So let's hope that the folks like Emily have less of a voice in the world, because we don't need to listen to them. We've heard their song before. And let's hope that we hear more from the progressive folks, from the folks that have found a nice, simple, harmless way of trying to de-stress in very stressful times. Because they got the right idea. Petting a cat, that is quite common.